Hey everybody, with the video that you're watching in front of you right now, we'll be showcasing c2c and where it is in its development. We're pretty close to being able to launch and we're excited about what we got going on over here. So without further ado, we'll be loading up a couple of little bits of information on a website control, and it's going to take about 10 minutes or so in order to spool everything up. So we're going to throw on a giant orange block and we'll be back in a couple minutes. So it's been about 12 minutes or so as we've waited while our island spools up and gets everything in place for us. A couple of seconds ago we received our email from the system letting us know that it's ready for us to log into the front end and control everything that we need to. Now bear in mind this system right now isn't as pretty as it's going to be. That's one of the last things that we need to make sure is done the right way. User interface is a very big part of this experience. But for right now, you guys can see exactly what we're doing here. So just so you guys can understand exactly how easy it is to use c2c with your current existing system, basically you're going to go to the website and sign up as we showcased a little bit earlier. A little bit later, you're going to get an email from the system letting you know that it's ready, at which point you're going to go to that control website, and from there you'll be automatically connected to a secure encrypted VPN. And after that, it's pretty much just about launching your worker nodes. From the end user perspective, it's going to be as if the computers are showing up on your own personal network. It's going to be as transparent as plugging in a computer that's sitting right next to you. So we're going to go ahead and launch up these worker nodes for us, and that takes about 6 to 7 minutes or so. So we're going to throw on that giant orange block here in a little bit, and we'll be back shortly once those render nodes are ready and rocking. So it's been about 7 minutes or so since we launched our worker nodes, and we just received a ping back from the control website saying that they're up and running. We've gotten their IP addresses, and as I mentioned before, a lot of this stuff will actually be more streamlined once we actually go final and get ready for open release for the service, so that you don't actually need to copy and paste anything. That's too old school for us, I guess. While we wait for these nodes to actually start up the 3D Studio Max V-Ray distributed rendering service, let's go ahead and load up our test scene that we'll be sharing on the website in the next couple weeks or so you guys can actually test it against your own system and see how much time you could be saving using c2c. For this testing purposes, we're just going to run out a real quick test render here, and nothing too crazy, low settings, just to give you guys an idea of the image that we're looking at. So with our test render finished and complete, we've got a quick image giving you guys an idea of exactly where we're going to be testing with here. Low settings, 2.5, 3 minute frame or so, and for these testing purposes, we're going to just go ahead and say that you've done all your camera work, you've done all your lighting work, and the scene itself is pretty close to being done. You're pretty much ready to go high resolution with production quality settings and get everything rocking and rolling. So we're going to go ahead and set up our distributed render nodes up here right into the interface and add those IP addresses, and as I mentioned before, that's going to be streamlined. When we go for final release, it'll automatically dump those little bits of information into the right places, and it'll just kind of show up in your system. So we're going to get these up and running, and we're going to launch them off. Now, one thing that we're going to have to caveat here is that with anything in terms of data transfer, even on a local network, you're going to need some level of bandwidth in order to be able to get scenes and data sitting around over onto other computers. Typically, that's pretty rudimentary and easily done on a localized network, but we're going to be needing this done over the internet. So we're not only sending stuff securely through an encrypted VPN, but on top of that, we're also going to be trying out a couple of different options for how we're exactly going to be sending across that data, and whether we're going to give clients the ability to preload things. And we're working with the people over at Chaos Group with V-Ray to try and minimize the overhead required for, 4 computers don't need to transfer 4 sets of information, etc., etc. You can see how that could be a bigger problem when we scale up the amount of computers. So for now, we're just going to jump back in a couple minutes when the nodes pick up, and we'll talk in a second. And there we have it. The nodes just picked up. It's been a total of around 9 minutes or so while all that data got transferred up to the individual computers up in the cloud. We're looking at about 150 megabytes worth of data for this little test scene that we've got up and running, the majority of which comes from a single VR mesh for the XYZ RGB Stanford Dragon that we're using. As I mentioned before, we're going to be working with the guys over at Chaos Group in order to minimize that load up time, but our current bandwidth over here is just a standard cable sitting at 100 megabits down and 20 megabits up, and like I said, it only took about 8 or 9 minutes in order for all that data transfer to come across. As you can see here, we've got buckets rolling and things sitting in front of us, and it's kind of glorious. This is only 4 computers. They're Intel Xeon based top-of-the-line machines that we utilize, and we'll be able to do some pretty exciting stuff. Not only will you be able to do 4, but technically you'll be able to do up to 240. So you can imagine how more capable that's going to leave an individual network, and best of all, it's going to be on demand. So we're going to go ahead and let this render queue out and finish up, and we'll be back in a little bit. So as we let this final bucket finish up with this rendered image that we've got going here, we're currently at about a 25-minute render time. To give you guys a comparison, this frame would have taken about 6 hours on this machine that I'm using right now. It definitely speaks to the capabilities of what we're offering here, especially being that 53 minutes ago we hadn't even signed up for the service, and we literally just finished an image with it. So that's pretty much the entire system right there. The best part about the system at the end is that you'll be able to literally go back to the control website, and with a single click we'll be able to destroy the entire system. One of the most important things that we worked on was security in the whole encompassing system itself, and one of the big hallmarks of that security is being able to remove any trace of what you were working on and maintain ownership of your files. Nobody gets at them at any point, you never hand them off, and when you're done with everything, you just basically swipe it under the rug and it's like it never happened. So I'm going to go ahead and save out this image. It's a pretty good one. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and get this video posted up. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, whatever you may have, please feel free to go to the website. We've got a sign-up page that we're rocking there, and we're getting great feedback from, and people are literally signing up from around the world. So really exciting stuff. Please feel free to comment or whatever it is that people do on YouTube. We never use this stuff, but yeah. Exciting stuff, and thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys shortly.